and open up for questions. Thanks.
Hey, Patty. I'm Andy Larson with the Salt Lake Tribune. It's good to meet you. Tell me kind of how signing with the Jazz came about this summer.
Yeah, it came after the Paris Olympics this summer. As you can imagine, an Olympic campaign is very full-on and hectic as it is. But having these conversations on the side, throughout that was very exciting at the same time. So we unfortunately got knocked out in the quarterfinals, a tough game against Serbia. And a couple of days later, I was on the phone to Will talking about this opportunity, which I'm incredibly excited about. The role that I have on this team this year is very clear, and this part in my career and what I have to bring to an incredibly young, talented group is exciting for me to be able to share what I've experienced over the course of 15 years in the NBA with an NBA championship, 5 Olympic Games and an Olympic medal. I think there's a lot here that I'm naturally good at being able to help some younger guys develop and create a strong foundation base here in Utah for the Jazz to be able to build on over the course of many, many years. So this conversation with Will went very well in the streets of Paris, and it got me very excited about this season and what I can bring.
Hi, Patty. I'm Sarah Todd from the Deseret News.
Morning.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Your relationship with Will goes back about 15 years, I think. How much more comfort is it coming to a place where you know somebody that well? And also, how has your relationship with Will evolved over the last 15 years?
Yeah, it's a great question. He was the first person to open the doors for me in San Antonio when I got to the Spurs. And I think that first workout at 9 p.m. at night, I think it was, little did we know just how much we would experience together. The highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the ugly, laughters, tears, all of it. I think we've watched each other grow in our respective roles and got to know each other very well. And I think to be able to see him succeed as a coach and as a head coach in this role, to be able to then reunite with him in an environment that is very comfortable, not only because of his position, but I think what I can bring to this environment. So it's unique, it's very special, it's exciting at the same time because my role, there's so much clarity in my role and I know what to do, I know how to execute it and I'm excited about it as well. I can see the potential here, not only this season, but the years to come. And I think it's a very enjoyable place to be because of this place, because of Will and how he is as a person. I think one of his biggest strengths is his ability to be able to share who he is and how he does things. He's very approachable. He's he can relate to players, old players, young players, veteran players, coaches. He can relate to anyone and have those conversations. But this place has become very quickly, welcomed me with open arms. And that's, you don't get that too often. But I think that allows a player to be able to be himself when he comes into this locker room and give him 100%. So, again, I'm very excited about this opportunity, and I think, this is going to be a very enjoyable year.
Patty Thurl-Bailey, can you talk about the importance of having someone like yourself who's had the experiences, been through it all, ups and downs of a season, younger team, veteran team. Talk about the importance of having a kind of player like you in the locker room, and maybe in particular, especially when Because players want to play, they want to win, especially when things aren't going well during the season.
Yeah, look, I think there's, I think my presence, number one, in this locker room and being able to guide this talented young team is where this starts. And I think away from the coaches, away from anyone else outside of the locker room, these players being able to help them navigate through a season, not being able to ride the highs too high, ride the lows too low. Just understand this is a long season, but also a long career for these guys as well. And if they can learn some important tricks, so to speak, to be able to put one foot in front of the other, continue to learn, never think that you know it all, because even 16 years in, you still don't know it all, and be able to learn so much that you leave the opportunity for yourself to continue to grow, I think is the main thing. There's so much talent here. You see it, you see the potential, and it's just about, I think, keeping these guys on the straight and narrow and letting them enjoy it as they can, and then let them be themselves. I think it's about being able to understand how to manage throughout the course of a season, and this is a learning environment, I think. And if these guys can continue to put things in the bank to help them in the future at the end of the season or in the future of their careers, I think it'll be very beneficial for them, once they get older.
Patty, Craig Boulder, Jack. Maybe just jump into that a little deeper if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Has Keontae, you guys been able to connect yet? I know it's early. A lot of players have been in town for, about a month? Mm-hmm. But what's your overall thought about, there's 5 players, actually 6, about 5 first-rounders in the last 2 years, and 7, I believe, now are under 23. Do you sense their hunger and their willingness to listen and to learn?
Yeah, that's probably been the biggest surprise to me. Number one, there are a lot of young guys on this group, and to walk in early September and see how long they've been putting work in this summer. But to walk in and see their level of work ethic, number one, at that young age, and their eagerness to listen is a great first sign for me. And I think that you couldn't ask for a better starting base to build from. So I think there's potential in that for these guys to be able to latch on to and not lose that, the eagerness to listen, the work ethic, and then the ability to get along with each other. There's important pieces in this room already. If they can connect and have that strong connection, this can become a very special place. And I think that's probably a part of my job title at the moment, or job role description. And a lot of times these things can't be forced either. It's got to come naturally. It's got to come genuinely for them to really work. I've seen them work at the highest of levels between Tony, Manu, and Tim, for example. But there's definitely some, experiences here. If these guys can connect on a genuine, deeper level away from basketball, I think that can bring them closer together to make this thing really work. And I think Keontae and Lowry as a big part of that. So, getting to know them over the course of the last couple of weeks and understanding who they are as people. This thing always starts away from the basketball court, as we all know. And if you can create that genuine connection off the court, it makes everything on court, that much easier, I think. So it's a great base to work from, is the point I think I'm trying to make.
Hey, Patty. Ryan Miller from KSL.com.
G'day, mate.
Will said that you'll be an extrovert in a team full of introverts. How, I guess, does that work out? How do you expect to use your voice for this team?
Yeah, it's going to be It's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. It's going to take some creativity, I think, and being able to connect with a younger group. But at the same time, these young guys have so much personality in their own way, and I don't think that should be covered, or no, strings should be attached to them to pull them away from that. The more personality that these guys are able to show, the better that they'll feel more comfortable and expressive. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, but again, I think this is something that I'm good at, being able to connect and help these guys grow both on and off the court. So we'll see. Like already, with the first few weeks of being here, being able to connect with guys and get to find out who they are. As I said, it's a great base to start from and see how that can grow. But if this thing has a chance, it's because everyone's going to connect on that level off the court, to be able to have fun, enjoy, understand that we're going to win a lot of games and lose a lot of games. But I think there's a big picture here that when you put things into perspective, that's the day by day that you can't lose track of, yeah.
Patty, you mentioned a couple of times the clarity that you have in your role
Yep.
here. Can you kind of outline that for us? What have you been told about what your day-to-day life for this team is going to be?
Yeah, look, there's no secret to who the young boys are on this team that are going to be a massive focal point in this organisation, to hopefully a very successful Jazz organisation in the near future. My role is, how can I help piece that puzzle together and build a strong foundation in the locker room for these guys to have a successful career. This is key. This is Lowry, and I think with my role and other veterans, JC on this team, obviously Will steering this ship. My role is to be able to get the best out of them. I've played against Lowry for a few years now, not only in the NBA but on the international level for his country, and I've seen the potential of what he's able to do, and I don't even think he's hit his potential just yet. So I think inserting belief into him and helping him reach that full potential, and I think there's parts that I've witnessed from afar that I've come to see him and get to know him a little bit. There's still a big part of him kind of coming out of his shell that he can show the entire NBA and the world as well. And I fully believe that. So to help, piece that puzzle together with other key, guys in the locker room, I think that's my clarity, that's my role. There's some stuff that will happen on the court. There's a lot of stuff that will happen off the court. And I keep coming back to this enjoyable chemistry that this environment has, that will continue to need to be there through the course of this season's ups and downs. And again, it's that general connection, I think, that I'll play a big part in being able to help, these guys have. Hope that answered your question.
Patty, Ben Anderson, KSL Sports. Australia and Utah have had a weird relationship with basketball, going back to Andrew Bogut and Luke Neville, and then now Joe Ingles, of course. What's your understanding of the state of Utah? Has it been on your radar for a long time?
It's funny because I only had 2 college visits ever, and my first one of those 2 was here in Utah. So I got to experience this place as a 18-year-old, I think I was at the time. And there has been a strange connection here, and I've got to know about this place through other friends that have been here, with the Jazz in particular. I'm sure everyone knows of him, Joe Ingles. I only walked to one coffee shop and everyone's asking about Joe, so he's definitely been a fan favourite here for a long time. So I've got big shoes to fill in that department, but no, I've probably learned about this place a lot through my relationship with Joe. So when I got here, it felt like I knew a lot of people. I was familiar with the place just because of him. So I'm not Joe Ingles, so I hope everyone doesn't expect me to be that humour, sarcastic, trash-talking Joe Ingles. But I'm very excited to be another Aussie in this Utah connection for sure.
Hey, Patty. Do you want to be a coach after you're done?
That's a great question. You know what? I never saw it in my future. I think I've given a lot to this game in this country, in the NBA, as well as in Australia. And I think it would take a lot for me to continue a career after giving so much as a player. Everyone knows you sacrifice so much to be in this role, and it does take its toll. It's enjoyable and it's very much worth it, but I think there's a life outside of basketball that I've still felt very connected to, and it's probably the reason why I've lasted so long over here in the States and in the NBA is because of that connection. A big part is my culture and being able to be a role model at this level and give them someone to look up to. And I speak for everyone in Australia, especially the youth. Be able to have them look at me at this level and say, like, that's who I want to be like, and I've grabbed that that role with both arms, and I think I have great respect for everyone that has been in my position that's come before me, because I was once that little boy looking up to role models such as Kathy Freeman and these other people, that these other sports stars, right, that I obviously didn't know, but there was something about seeing them as a kid and seeing the color of their skin and seeing and feeling a relation, ship with these sports heroes that I never knew I would feel. And now I'm in that position, right? So I can only imagine just how many young boys and girls that are in my home country of Australia gaining a lot of inspiration just by watching my career unfold. So I think it's a long-winded answer to come around that I haven't thought about it. Haven't crossed it off the list either. But I think there's a big life out there for me away from basketball that I can still make the same impact on those people that I've had in this industry.
Thank you very much, Patty.
Easy.
Appreciate
It's a
your
good one
time.
to end on.
Thanks, Patty.
Cheers, guys.